It's all about marketing, helping people, and making offers. And so when we can figure that out, the sky's the limit. There's really no limit to how much money you can make if you understand the power and importance of marketing and making offers.
Welcome, everybody, to the Creative Cash Flow Show with Jesse Mills. I'm your host, and this is all about real estate secrets for achieving time and money freedom. And I'll tell you what, I got to give humongous props to today's guest because I literally would not be here. In fact, I would have been doing this years ago if I would have listened to this man. Mr. Joe McCall is basically, man, you're the reason that I'm in this in the seat I'm in. So
Nice.
huge props. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You've had me on your show a few times, and now it's my turn to have you as a guest on my new show.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, man. I remember talking to you about starting a podcast and YouTube channel while we were at a Blues hockey game, St. Louis Blues hockey game.
Yes.
Here in St. Louis. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm glad to see you doing it. So that's awesome. Good for you, man.
Thank you. It's funny. I feel a little silly telling people, hey, I'm starting this new podcast. It's not like 2008 and, Dido's number one on the radio. I mean, what's going on? Like it's 2022, but it's something that the more and more I learn from folks who are doing bigger, better things in places that, I wasn't a few years ago. Now I'm there or I want to get to. It's like, man, there's so many folks out there who just need direction and they just need some help. And why would you go reinvent the wheel if you don't need to? And so anything that I can share with people, I've learned so much from folks like you, and whether that be, the first online course that I bought from you and your podcast, and, you've got an amazing podcast. You do a phenomenal job of marketing, and you've helped a ton of people, man. So I want to hear from Joe McCall, how you're living a life of financial freedom, but lifestyle freedom, because again, this isn't just about financial freedom, right? A lot of folks have a lot of money out there, but they don't have freedom, right? And they don't have lifestyle freedom. And so that's really what a lot of people are chasing. They're not chasing the money. They're chasing what the money does for them, which means, being able to go to your kid's soccer game or baseball game in the middle of the day, right? They're chasing, could I be in an RV for 3 months and the money still keeps coming in? Could I go travel around Europe with my wife and kids? Like, how do people do this? And you've figured out how to get it done. And not only that, but you're also teaching people how to do that, which is fantastic.
Well, man, I think it's real simple. I was one of the first coaching programs, maybe the first coaching program I ever joined. At the time, it was called Life in There. And it's still called that. It's still around. And it's a great group. Steve Cook is the guy who started it. But the whole idea was his story. And this is what I latched onto. At the time, he was doing a lot of big deals in Baltimore in the early 2000s. And a lot of people would come to him and say, hey, I want to be a millionaire. Teach me how to be a millionaire. And he kept on thinking, well, you know what? There's more to life than the money part of it, because you could be a millionaire and super depressed and unhappy. And what is making $1 million if you're spending $999,000 a year, right? So like, that's not any fun.
No.
So he talked about this concept of designing a vision for your life first, and then building a business around that. So many of us have a business or a job at the center of our life, and then life just kind of fits in around that, whether we have a family and kids or whatever. We just kind of fit all of that stuff, whatever is left, space is left in our day, in our calendar around that. So what if we reversed it and instead create a vision for what is our life? What do we want our life to look like first? And then build a business that supports that. Get a job or start a business that supports the vision for your life. So for me, my wife and I, we homeschool our kids. We wanted to have multiple kids. So we have 4 kids, and we wanted to be able to travel.
How old are the kids now? How old are the kids now?
18, 17 boys and 14 and 11-year-old girls.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So they're getting older.
Yeah.
But we wanted to have a business where we could work from anywhere in the world. I wanted a business with low overhead. I could run virtually. I didn't have to be stuck in an office, in a cubic hell, as I called it back then. We wanted to be able to just do whatever we want in any way we wanted to. We wanted to be able to take vacations after school starts so we don't have to fight the crowds and we can save a ton of money on Airbnbs on the ocean, on the beach, right? By the way, this is
Smart.
not the real ocean. This is a video
I was going to
background behind
say,
me.
unless the Mississippi River is really flooding in St. Louis, it's not where you're at.
It's not a green screen either. It's an actual projector that I have behind me. But anyway,
God, that's cool.
so I love the beach. And sometimes if I'm in a mountain type of a mood, I'll change the background to mountains. But
Oh,
anyway,
man.
we
It's
wanted to
awesome.
be able to travel around the world with our kids. We wanted to
Mhm.
teach them ancient Greek. Instead of teaching them ancient Greek history, let's take them to Athens. Let's take them to Rome. Let's go to Prague for 3 months. So we got to do that. And
Yeah.
I designed a business that allowed me to work with a laptop and a cell phone. I don't need to travel. I mean, I can travel anywhere and take my business with me. So when we're traveling for months at a time, and we've done this 3 or 4 times where we've gone for 2 to 3 months at a time
Mhm.
in an RV or in Europe, traveling around, staying in different Airbnbs. But it wasn't like it was a vacation. I was just taking all the time. I would work 2, 3, 4 hours a day um, with my business, and I had an amazing team. Still doing deals in the United States, but doing it from Europe or doing it from an RV in Yellowstone National Park. So I thought that,
That
man,
is
I
so
want to do
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
So design a business first, and you have to put a dollar amount to that. You have to put it on a calendar. You have to figure out, okay, well, I want to take Fridays and Mondays off. I only want to work 3 days a week, or I want to take Wednesdays off and golf, or I want to have breakfast with my kids, dinner with my wife. We want to go on family vacation. So put that all onto a calendar and put a dollar amount to it also, and you'll be surprised. You may want a cabin in the woods or a huge boat, but what if you just rented that cabin in the woods once or twice a week, a year? What if you
Mhm.
just rented a boat? What if you just, maybe, I would suggest it's even better to do Airbnb or VRBO in these different places instead of buying one place and having to go there all the time.
Agree.
So why not figure out, okay, how much is that going to cost to take 4 vacations a year, to to rent that boat for a couple weeks a year, or to drive this nice car, whatever it is. There's no limits. Just put it down on paper, and you'll be shocked if you don't have debt, how cheap it is to do all that stuff. So anyway, that's what we did. We wrote it all down, and we figured, all right, well,
So you don't need nearly as much as you think you need when you write it
no,
all
you
down.
don't.
Yeah.
Most people can live a very, very comfortable, amazing lifestyle on just 10 to 20 grand a year, a month, 10 to 20 grand a month.
10 to 20 a month.
And if you're really frugal, you can do it you can live very comfortably on 5 to 10 grand a month if
Mhm.
you don't have any debt.
Mhm.
So as there's different things for this is not
Wow.
just a one size fits all thing,
Of
but it
course. Of
kind of
course.
is. You design it the way you want your life to work,
The system is a
then
one
design a
size fits
business.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is one size fits all in the term that in the sense that you get to choose what the one size is for
Yes.
you, because it does work for everybody. Now, if you figure out, all right, well, to live a lifestyle we need to make $15,000 a month.
Mhm.
Well, then you work backwards from there. All right, so I want to make 15 grand a month. I only want to work 4 days a week. So you know what? You don't need a huge office, a storefront. You don't need a bunch of staff.
Mhm.
Now maybe you can do something with virtual assistants. All right. So if your average profit is $7,500 a deal, you only need to do 2 deals a month. Well, you figure taxes. Okay. You got to do 3 deals a month.
Mhm.
All right. So, or maybe two bigger deals or one big deal every 3 months. So you just
True.
work backwards from what's your income goal, work backwards from there and figure, all right, well, I need to do 1 deal a month, 2 deals a month. How, if I have to make 30 offers to get one deal, I got to make 60 offers a month divided by 4. I don't know what that is. I need to make 3 offers a day. I got to make
Mhm.
3 offers a day. And you work backwards again, all the way back to marketing. All right. So I need to do this amount of marketing every day, talk to this number of sellers or make this number of offers. So you're designing the business intentionally. That's the secret to this all. It's actually pretty easy.
It's almost like it's so easy, it's complicated. Like it's simple. It's very
Yeah.
simple, right? But nobody thinks that way, right? And it's one of those things I think until you start hanging out with those people and watching them and listening to them and being in the same rooms, you're like, that seems really pretty straightforward, but I've never thought that way. And you're spot on that so many people just, I got to get the job or I go start the business and the business has to get huge and it has to grow and it has to be this revenue dollar amount in my head that means success to me. And here you're saying, well, no, I get to do all the things that you think you're going to do when you're at this level you think you need to get to. I'm already doing it,
Yeah.
right? And you're not, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s,
Yeah.
waiting till the end of your life when your health is gone and all you have is wealth
Yeah.
and no health, right?
That's the thing. I didn't want to travel the world when I'm in my 70s and my
Mm-hmm.
kids are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Am I even going to enjoy it when I'm in my 70s? Like, am I going to be enjoying traveling? Why not go now while we have our kids with us? Right. I don't want to
Yeah.
buy an RV after the kids are gone. Let's rent an RV for a couple months at a
Mm-hmm.
time and just go travel or whatever. So, I mean, I know guys they'll buy an RV and sell it a year later after they do their big trip.
Yeah.
So it's not like my business now as I've done very, very well. Our business we make a lot of money. I have now a staff of 5 or 6 people. And so my overhead is bigger now than it was before,
Mm-hmm.
but I know I'm enjoying it right now. I really love what we're doing. And
Awesome.
if I want to do what I want to do, I need to have a bigger business, but I'm still working from home.
Mm-hmm.
I can still take a trip and go anywhere in the world anytime we want. The only thing that's holding me back now from is traveling as much as we used to is our kids are getting older. There's more commitments and they're more involved in sports and activities.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just gotten harder. But it's cool. My wife and I are really enjoying our time with our kids.
That is awesome, man. And I share the exact same dreams and goals with you. My kids are 7 and 9 now. So 7, 9 going on 8 and 10 this summer. But to say, hey, you're learning about history. Let's take you to, Virginia and Maryland and
Yeah.
DC when they get to
Yeah.
that. And but that's level one, right? Then level two is let's go to Europe and let's teach
Yeah.
you about this. Let's go to Greece. Let's go to Egypt and be in it, right? And
Why
have the
not?
time to
Who says you can't do that stuff?
exactly. Exactly.
We
No one
took
says you
we
can't.
we took 4 kids when our youngest was 1 year old for 2 months, 2.5 months to Prague. And yeah, you should have seen the looks in people's faces, as they're seeing us walking around with 4 kids in Europe.
Yeah.
But man, we had a blast. It was so much fun.
That is awesome. Well, I think, it's part of its mindset. And I think, I don't know, you tell me, I'd be curious on this. Is it innate? Is it just part of how you are and, how you were raised and who you are, Joe? Or is it you learn this more as you get out there with different people and, read different things, hear different things? But to me, I think it's seeing someone else saying, well, this guy's doing it. If he can do it, I can do it. Right. Or how is he doing it? Maybe even like if you're not that confident yet with yourself to say, well, how the heck did he figure that out? Right. I remember being in the Bahamas one day for a wedding and I was already getting to where I could do this anyways. But it was just a good slap in the face. We're there for a wedding, staying at Sandals at this nice resort in the Exumas. And it was a Tuesday. And we go to this we hired a boat. We were driving around on a boat. And we go to this island, and it's this private island. And I got a hat from there. It's called Chat and Chill. I think that's the name of the restaurant. It is literally just this tiny little island with a restaurant and a bar on it. But all around this thing is yachts, big yachts, little yachts, boats, sailboats. And I'm like, this is a freaking Tuesday for everybody. What does everybody here do that this is their Tuesday? And they're going from their big boat to the little boat to go to this little barefoot bar, in the Bahamas. And again, like I was already getting my business to the point where I could do that, but not for 30 days, not for 60 days. That's their life. So what are they doing differently? And I think that's the question you have to ask. And you have to be comfortable asking that, right? And maybe have
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
people around you then don't go, oh my God, you're an idiot. They don't have jobs, or you know what I mean? It's that circle you have to have around you that says, it's a good question. What do they do? Let's find out. Let's find out together.
I think it's so good. It's all about asking better questions. We need to ask
Yes.
better questions. Like, how can I do that?
Yeah.
Like, I remember hearing a story from my coach at the time thinking, he was telling a story of these 2 or 3 buddies. And this is a real story, true story. And they went to Europe. I forget, maybe it was Bahamas or something. They went on this really cool trip
Mhm.
to just have a guy's day, a guy's weekend or something like that.
Mhm.
And they were all successful, very wealthy, right? And one of the guys said, "Hey, man, we should stay here a few more days. We should stay here another like a week or something. What do you say?" And one guy said, "No, man, I can't. He has a bunch of rental properties." And I said, "I got to get back to take care of my rental properties." The
Uh-huh.
other guy said, "Man, I got to I got to go. I got to be in the office." And then one guy said, "Well, yeah, I'll do it." And he did. I forget all the details of the story, but the point was
Yeah.
this guy who said, no, who was had the idea, let's stay for a few more days, could do it because it wasn't like he was on vacation, but he
Mhm.
was able to run his business from anywhere in the world. He was able to run his business from wherever they were. I remember at the time when I was working my full time job, I quit my job in 2009. I was a civil engineer by training, and I was working for a large company building power plants all over the
Wow.
Midwest area. And I remember getting frustrated that I only had at the time, I think 3 weeks of vacation a year, which was not bad. I shouldn't be complaining, but I was getting paid well.
Mhm.
I always felt like I was frustrated with just punching in and out. I felt like I was, I was getting a little tired and frustrated with that. And then I was also getting frustrated with, that feeling when if you have a job, you're 6 months into the year and you've already used up almost all your vacation, all of your
Mm.
PTO days,
Mhm.
and like, man, to get a day off, you have to ask your boss for a day off. And so I remember like a few weeks after I quit my job, we were in Colorado, near Estes Park. We were in near
Mhm.
Estes Park,
Mhm.
and we were having a great time. And my wife and I, we just had 2 kids at the time, I think. And we said, "Hey, listen, let's just stay for another week." And we said, "Okay." And it dawned on me like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. I'm living that story of that guy that I heard. Let's
That's
just stay another
awesome.
time. And so I stayed. I didn't have the boss to call. I didn't have to ask for permission to stay. And I had my laptop with me. So we
Yeah.
just got another Airbnb. At the time, it was homeaway.com, I think.
Okay.
And we just stayed there for another
Yeah.
week. And I thought, man, this is it. This is so cool. It's just asking better questions. How can I have a business with that's simple, with low overhead, that can be run virtually from anywhere in the world, that can give me cash now and cash later?
Mhm.
And it's just start asking better questions and then designing your business to fit around that lifestyle that you want.
So smart. And that moment, man, must have been so awesome. You must have been like,
I remember like it was yesterday.
yeah. You're like, wow, that what that guy did and what he could do, I'm there now. I've got that.
Yeah.
And you everything you did to get there. Well, and so we work with a lot of investors around the country, and a lot of our coaching students come to us from that analytical mindset of an engineer, right? We've got folks who are very pilots and doctors and lawyers and accountants. And as an engineer, I love working with smart people, and I tell people this. I'm like, I mean, it sounds silly. No one doesn't like to work with smart people, but they ask good questions and they can understand things very well, right? And say, here's a spreadsheet. Numbers don't lie. And so you use your
Well,
your
maybe
background.
you
Well,
can still get a spreadsheet to tell you whatever you want it to tell you.
this is true. This is true. Typically, though, right? You you can work because it's
Yeah.
just good questions. It's good questions, and you know what to ask, and the goal and the direction is very goal focused, right? So there's so many things that we could ask you, but I'll probably make multiple mentions of this in other shows and other podcasts and stuff. But one of the things I tell people a lot, even to this day, I started, I think, in 2010, 2011, really learning about lease options and creative financing. Just what most people do, just going on the internet, getting stuff for free, YouTube,
Yeah.
podcasts, surfing and Googling and stuff like that. And I always tell people the first course that I ever bought was $9.97 from Joe McCall, and I did my first deal and I made $8,000. And
Was it the wholesaling lease options course? Do you remember?
yep, wholesaling lease options.
Yeah.
Yep. Which
Isn't
ironically,
that
I didn't
cool?
actually follow fully to the T. I did kind of the way I do my business now, where I actually found the tenant buyers first
Yeah. Yeah.
on a Craigslist ad, free Craigslist ad. They were in there, by the way, houses wanted. I forget
Yeah.
about that section, but houses wanted. Found them and went and bought him a house, and yeah, made $8,000, got all of our money back, made $575 a month. I remember to a T every month for 2 years. They didn't buy on time, my first deal, and it didn't work out. They needed more time, so we gave them another year
That's
and
crazy. Yeah.
kept the cash flow the same. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to raise your rent. You guys have been fantastic. They did, remodel to the kitchen and added a new deck and did all this stuff, right? So I said, we'll keep your monthly payment the same. We'll keep your price the same.
Yeah.
Just give me an extension fee of $2,000, right? And so I actually ended up being more money than that. But point being with that, right? I get into the details because I think it's important. I like to be transparent. Point being is I had people say, hey man, that could be a scam. It's $1,000 on the internet. Have you ever met this guy? Have you ever talked to this guy? And I'm like, well, what if it's not? What if it's legit?
Yeah.
Right? And I
Yeah.
don't think there's enough of that out there where people say, well, what if it works? What if it is legit? And had I not done that, or I'd listened to somebody else in my circle that said, oh, you're probably going to get ripped off. It's $1,000 on the internet. Does this work? From this person saying all this stuff. I'm the kind of person that says, well, if it works, I'd be an idiot not to try. Right.
That's a great perspective. I love that because we tend to be so skeptical sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But and this is one of the reasons now with my course, when I sell it, I give people the opportunity. If you just go through the course
Mm-hmm.
and implement it,
Mm-hmm.
I will give you your money back. You don't even have to do a deal. You just go through the course.
Love it.
And you watch each module and then
Yep.
do what I tell you to do and show me proof that you do what I've told you to do.
I love that.
I will refund your money. And over the last couple of years, I've given over $150,000 in refunds.
Wow.
But the crazy thing is, still only about 4% of people who buy my course will ask for a refund. Now, it could be there's a lot of people that actually implement it and makes a lot of money, and they're like, "Oh man, this is so good. I'm not even gonna. I got way more value.
Yeah.
I feel bad to ask Joe for a refund." There's a lot of people like that, I'm sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I love.
I'm one
that
of them.
because-
I don't think I ever asked you for mine.
No.
Yeah.
Well, when you bought it, I wasn't doing that. I don't think.
Okay.
But I think I'm doing that now
You're
because
doing something similar like that. I mean, it
I
wasn't that
might have
exact
done something
thing.
like if you did a deal,
Mm-hmm.
maybe, and send me a testimonial.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now you don't even have to do a deal. Just try. For goodness sakes, just try.
The steps are literally right there in front of you. You just have to follow them.
I just don't get it. But one of the great things that I like about that, and one of the reasons why I do that is I look at it as an investment in my most important asset, my customers.
Mm-hmm.
And I know if they're happy, they'll recommend me to other people. They may invest in something else that I sell, a software, marketing services, consulting, coaching, things like that. But I also know that some of them will bring me deals. We'll partner on deals together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I want to do everything I can to help them get success. And if that means bribing them to just go through the program, now they only have 6 months to do it. That's not like for a long time.
Yeah.
6 months, they have to do something.
Mm-hmm.
But that I find like that helps people maybe push them over the edge a little bit and also kind of maybe calm some of their fears that I'm a scam or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. Right. Because I have in my presentation, I literally show about 75 people that are holding
Wow.
a check with a refund,
Wow. That's huge. That's powerful to have those testimonials. I think that's awesome, man. And everyone has the story of the guru out there, the guy or gal that's saying stuff, not doing it. It's not true. People hear that, and it drives me nuts because those people give good folks a very bad name and a bad rap, right? And kind of like, creative financing with lease to own, rent to own, and contract for deed. And there's some bad eggs out there. It sucks. And they give the good guys and gals a bad name out there. And so I feel like with my business and with my students and my, investors and partners and everyone we work with, I mean, we want to do everything right. And we're trying to do everything with the best wishes in mind for our clients, give them, more time instead of less time and give them the roadmap to get it done. And I tell people, I want you to start here where maybe they can't get a home today because of X, Y, and Z with the bank. And we come in and help them get that house for their family so they can stay in that school district, for example, right? And they get that bigger home for the growing family or whatever. And we're helping them. But I say, I don't want you just to get our help and get what you want. I want you to flip to the other side of what we do and then come be the investor with us. And in a year or two or three, now you're helping families the way we're helping you. It's like, wow, that's
awesome.
really cool. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, so there's so many different levels that people can get to, if they know what's possible. That's a lot of it's
Yeah.
knowing what's possible. I know we don't have a ton of time, but I want you to elaborate a little bit more, Joe, on how you designed your business, and I think that's a really powerful thing that a lot of people don't think about. And I want you to stop and think about, if I could design my perfect day, right? What's my perfect day? And who cares if it's a year from now, if it's 5, if it's 10, where you wake up and do whatever the heck you want, wherever you are, with whoever you want, right? Where are you going for breakfast? And like really just stop and shut your eyes, right? And put in some Enya if you have to, and think about it. What does that look like? And you've done that. And so it's a 2-part question. I'm known for like 9 questions in one. 2-part question. Number 1, what are the various income streams you have that allow you to do that? And what does your team look like? Your team of 5, right? Number 2, someone who's listening to this that, says, I'd love to get there. I know I can get there. I believe in myself. I believe in, I've got the hustle and I'll do it. What's the first steps?
Yeah, that's good. Good question. I'm a big believer of, like we already talked about, designing what you want your business to look like. And sometimes I tell people, listen, if you were to burn it all down and start all over from scratch and figure out what you love to do, what are you good at, then design a business. Forget about the money. Money is irrelevant. You don't forget about the money, or whatever your financial needs might be.
Mm-hmm.
If you could design a business from the ground up, doing something that you really enjoy doing, what would it be? And for me, I love teaching. I love doing the podcast, the YouTube videos. I love coaching. I love that aspect of the business. So I've done a ton of deals, still do deals, not as many as I used to. I just don't have the time or the bandwidth for it. I don't want to work 60 hours a week. I only want to work 30. So,
Awesome.
okay, if I have 30 hours a week to work, and some weeks I work more, some weeks I work less. Like last night I worked till 11 o'clock at night, 10:30 at night or something. So I have allowance for that.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
Yeah, it's not that rigid. It's
no,
not rigid, but you have a goal, a framework in mind of what it looks like. Yeah.
And there are some advantages, by the way, of having a job, because like you can you can shut it off at 5 p.m. and then go home. Right.
Yes.
So when you're working for yourself, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
But I would still rather have this.
Same. All day long. My wife has a job still. She's a nurse in the ICU. God bless her.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You told me about her day the other day. And I said, I could do that for 5 minutes,
I'd still rather do what she does than sit in a cubicle. Like one time I was looking at an office because I thought about renting some space, and a friend brought me to his place and started showing me where I could rent. And all he had available was cubicles in the middle of his room. And I looked at that and I literally felt like throwing up. I just felt sick to my stomach. I said, I got to get out of here. And there's no way. I mean, unless God came from heaven and said, Joe, you're going to work in a cubicle, I will never do that.
I think you still might argue him a little bit. You might try to sell God.
All right. So, but like to answer your question though, is like, if it all burnt down, this is a great exercise anybody should do.
Mm-hmm.
If you lost everything and you had to start all over from scratch and money wasn't a concern, what would you do? What do you really, really enjoy doing? Some guys and girls, they love the deal, right? They love chasing the deal. So all they want to do is wholesaling, lease options, deals. And some people are like, man, I love fixing up homes, fixing them up and reselling them, like beautifying these homes and blessing a family with a new home. Some people they love the idea of owning and managing 100 rental properties and living off of the passive, quote unquote, passive income from those properties. Other people, maybe it's just, I want to be on my laptop at the beach, just flipping vacant land. They like the fact that you can flip vacant land. You don't have to talk to sellers. You just make offers and you only talk to them if they accept your offer. So for me though, if I were to burn everything down, I would really like to have what I'm doing now with the podcast, the YouTube channel. We do a lot of things right now. So we have a coaching and consulting businesses. We do group coaching.
Hmm.
And we teach people how to make money doing real estate. And I'm starting to get into coaching and helping people make money in a publishing business, doing
Ooh,
their own information marketing stuff. But
nice.
also we do done for you marketing services. We sell software, and I like to publish books. I'll sell a book or something. I love the internet marketing side of this business,
Hmm.
and it is honestly more profitable. But I still do deals. My sons helped me do vacant land deals for the
That's
last few
awesome.
years, very, very part time. We grossed about 150 grand in profits with my sons doing it very part time, and
That's
so
great.
we
Wow.
we go through seasons where we ramp it up and then we bring it down a little bit. But we're starting to do a lot more vacant land deals, and I feel like it's important to still be doing deals so you can learn what's working and what's not, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But maybe the deal side of my business is 5 to 10% of my income. And the rest of it is affiliate commissions. I make a lot of money from commissions selling other software that I use and I
Hmm.
recommend and teach people how to use it. Um,
I just
I've
had
done for
David
you.
David Dodge on last week, and we were
Yeah.
talking about affiliate income.
Yeah. He's a good guy and he's
Yeah.
making a lot of money.
Yep. Yep.
Selling, I don't know, driving for dollars, deal machine, maybe.
Well, the,
Um,
the funny thing is just things you're using anyways. You're
yeah.
not
Yeah.
using it for your
Exactly.
business, but then now you get paid to just share it with people. Like, well, I used it at work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I
Yeah.
love and use and sell FreedomSoft. FreedomSoft is a great software that I use all the time, every day. I recommend all of my students use it. I do content teaching people how to use it, and I make affiliate income from that. Very, very comfortable affiliate income. I mean, if I were to lose everything and stop working,
Hmm.
I would have enough from that income to support me and my entire family.
That's awesome.
Um,
That
so
is
then,
great.
I that's what I love about this business. I love marketing. I would say that's pretty much my main passion is marketing, because I believe that we're not in the real estate investing business. We're not in the information marketing business, information publishing business. We're in the marketing business, and
Hmm.
it's all about marketing, helping people, and making offers. And so when we can figure that out, we can the sky's the limit. There's really no limit to how much money you can make if you understand the power and importance of marketing and making offers.
That is so. Two things I know you talk about a lot, right? Because we've known each other a long time. I watch and listening to you, and we've been together at a few events you've had me down to and speaking at, and I've heard you say this a lot, and I never get sick of hearing it. By the way, it's kind of like when you're a parent and everyone around you is like, "Oh, they get old so quick. Cherish them." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And like
yeah,
you hear it all the time from parents who are older than you and have older kids, but I never get sick of hearing it because it's a great reminder that it's true. It
yeah.
is true. My daughter still wants to run and give me a hug right now, and that might change in a few years, but she does right now. So, what I love to hear from you, and it's one of the things you say a lot, but it is all about marketing. It is a marketing business. It is not about real estate. This thing is not a cactus. You got to pick it up. You got to talk
Yeah,
in it, right? Around our
yeah,
office, it's TTP, talk to people, man. Everybody's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Talk to people. Just
yeah,
talk to people. And
yeah,
it's a numbers game. It's absolutely a numbers game. It's a contact sport. The more people you contact, the more things you're going to get done. So you know that. And a lot of people forget that. They want to push a button and they want everything just to come to them. And don't get me wrong, you've created and I've created some amazing systems that get as close to that as you can get, but you're still going to talk to people and you
oh
still have to
yeah,
make offers. The other thing, though, that you say a lot, and I think this is a huge takeaway for a lot of folks, um, because one of the things you say a lot is, how do I not do any of that that brings me what I need? And I love that,
that's so good. Like,
right?
make a list in a deal.
Mm-hmm.
For example, make a list of everything that you have to do in that deal, all of the steps, list them out,
Mm-hmm.
and then ask yourself a simple question: how can I do none of this? How can I get somebody else to do it all for me?
Yeah.
And when you start thinking that way, you start thinking in terms of systems, delegation. Like I say, the three keys to success in the business are marketing, automation, and delegation. So understand, marketing is the foundation of it all. And then you've got automation, which are systems. And then whatever you can't automate, you delegate. You get other people to do the stuff for you. So when you can figure out, okay, this is the perfect business that I want to have, and to have this perfect business, I need to, what are the systems and the people that I need to put in place to get them to do work for me? Now, it doesn't mean I'm not going to do any work, but instead now I'm just working on my business, not in it. So
Hmm.
asking bigger, better questions,
Again,
right?
yeah,
How can I do none of this?
yeah, yeah. Well, and to tag one more thing, I think to add on that is, right. So you got automate, delegate, or eliminate. How
Yeah.
many things are you doing you just don't need to do? You think you need to do it, but you don't, or you're doing something, like I was talking with one of my coaching students a few weeks ago, and we're looking at kind of his time tracker for his day. And this guy has a very good income and has a good job and real estate. So he's, got the job, that's a good job, and the passive income, but wants to really grow that. And I'm like, dude, why are you cleaning your house in the middle of the day? Why are you doing your own cleaning unless you love it? If it brings you joy, I'll never tell somebody to stop doing something that brings them joy.
Yeah.
But in the middle of the day, why are you doing that, man? And you get a time block, right? But get rid of that. Hire someone else to
Yeah.
do that, so you can go do something at 100 an hour, 200 and 500 an hour versus what you're doing, right?
Well, you need to be focusing on your highest revenue generating activities.
Yes.
And so what is that? It's different for every business, but normally
Mm-hmm.
it's making offers.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this all the time, like your speed to income is directly proportional to the number of offers that you make, specifically for real estate. But even in an internet marketing business,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not making offers, you're not making money. You need to be making offers. And it's your goal to make whatever it is, 3 offers a day, 5 offers a day, 10 offers a day. And every time you talk or you're sharing or teaching somebody something, you're making an offer to work with you or to whatever. But like your speed to income is directly proportional to the number of offers that you make. So it forces you then to say, what are my highest revenue generating activities? Doing this
Mm-hmm.
data entry stuff, that's $5 an hour activity. What's
Mm-hmm.
my $500 an hour activity work? And then it's the 80-20 thing. If you start focusing 80% of your efforts on that 20% pivot, the most important stuff, you'll do so much better.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Have you read the book Who Not How?
I've heard of it. I've not read it.
Okay. Yeah, I think I got it up here. Who Not How, great book, but I mean, you already know it. But again, it's one of those types of books where it's such a great reminder that there is a who for everything. There's a
Yeah.
who that wants to go do yard work right now, and that's not me. There's a who that wants to go fix up a house, and that's not me. I want to find it. I want to sell it. Maybe I can play the money behind it, but I don't want to be the guy painting or doing the drywall, right?
Yeah.
But there's a who for everything. And so, I think you've done an amazing job of finding the who's that like to do that thing and they're
Yeah.
good at it, right? They're maybe better than you are at it. And you're like, here you go, you do this, and your zone of genius. And I think that's so crucial when people start figuring out their zone of genius, what they love to do and what they're great at doing, and they can
Yeah.
surround themselves with people doing the rest. That's huge. So I imagine with your team of 5, that's what you're kind of doing is I don't like to do this, this, and you're maybe better at this. And so you've put yourself in a spot where you can just do what you're best at. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to know what your lane is.
Mm-hmm.
You got to stay in it and focusing on your highest revenue generating activities. And that's different for different people, depending on your deals, what type of business you're doing. But for me, it's not editing my website, writing my emails. It's not doing the techie computer stuff. It's being in front of people, talking, doing
Mm-hmm.
podcasts, videos, and building the systems, networking. I mean, I can't tell you the last time, I don't think I've ever done a deal actually where it was 100% on my own. I've always partnered with other people. It might be a realtor, it might be a local investor,
Mm-hmm.
a property manager, another wholesaler. I'm
Mm-hmm.
always partnering with people on deals because we're better together than alone. And I just know that I'm splitting the pie, but it's a bigger pie and I'm getting more of them and I'm getting them faster because I'm partnering with other people.
Yeah, I fully agree. Fully agree.
Yeah.
The speed to where you want to get to is going to go infinitely faster when you surround yourself with more opportunity. You don't get greedy. It doesn't have to be you, and you work with just good people,
Yeah.
and relying on other people's skill sets and stuff. So I love it. I know you don't have a ton of time, and we're probably coming up to where we got to wrap it up, man. There's so many things that I know you can share more in addition to it, but where can everybody already knows you anyways. That's probably watching this
Oh,
and
come
listening
on.
to this. But if they don't know Mr. Joe McCall, where can people find you?
I just did this book. Well, it's not. I did it about a year or two ago. It's called Simple Lease Options. You can get it for free if you watch my class. I have a class on how to do lease option deals at sloclass.com. And SLO stands for Simple Lease Options. And it's a book that I call the easiest and fastest way to do more deals in any market. And it's just learning simple lease options. And it's a great strategy, whether you're doing cash deals or whatever kinds of deals you're doing. You need to understand how to give sellers more options, not just cash offers and things like that. So if you want the book, go to sloclass.com. But I also have a podcast. If you just go to YouTube and search for Joe McCall, or wherever you listen to podcasts, do a search for Real Estate Investing Mastery. And I've been doing that podcast for 11 years now. So it's got a lot of good stuff out there.
What podcasting tips do you have from somebody who's done 11 years of podcasting, man? That's crazy.
Oh, be consistent.
Yeah.
Be consistent every, whether it's every once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, every day, whatever it is, you've got to be consistent. Never, ever, ever, ever quit.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I mean, we're over 10 million downloads,
Wow.
listeners. If I were to go back in the last 30 days and look at what countries people were listening to my podcast, it blows me away. Like 50 countries every single week,
That's
every
crazy.
single month, listen to my podcast from, if you total all the different countries, it's like 170 different countries that I've had people listen to my podcast on. So it's just, if you're passionate about it, then do it and be committed to it. Whether if you're not committed, and I tell this to everybody, but you specifically right now, Jesse, if you're not committed to do it every week for the next year, then forget about it. Whether you have 0 listeners or not, like just a few or none, you've got to be committed to it for at least a year. Then you can decide whether you want to continue doing it or not.
That's great advice. Great advice. Yeah. Well, I fully am. And
awesome.
There's a lot of great things with it. And hey, we might not be chatting again for another, few weeks or a month or two without this. So it was good to connect again today, man.
Podcasts are great, real quick, and then I got to go. But podcasts are a great way to network with other people. I do this all the time. I want to learn about doing something about, private lending, or I want to learn more about vacant land, whatever it is, right? I can get other people on my podcast. I can say, hey, listen, do you mind if I interview you on my podcast and talk about what you're doing? And guess what? It's like a free coaching call. You get to pick their brains, and they love sharing.
Right.
It's a great way to get to network and get free coaching.
Totally. Yeah. If you were just to call somebody and say, hey, can I get 30 minutes of your time? They'd say, no, or I'm busy for the next few months, right? If it's someone high level, but you say, can I,
what if you said, hey, can I get you on my podcast and promote your new book?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's do it. Okay. When do you want to do it?
Tomorrow? Yeah. I love it, man. Awesome. Well, thank you. I know you get to run. Thanks for everything, Joe. Appreciate it. Let's keep in touch.
All right,
man. Have a great rest of the day, man. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Bye.